Welcome back to News Across Nigeria. First, we'd like to remind you that channelstv.com has more information for you. And on youtube.com, you can watch our videos. You can also see us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature. You can use that to share pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Now, in agriculture and the Southwest, once again, low productivity in the cassava seed system has led scientists and experts in the sector to converge at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, to discuss how to improve the cassava value chain and the livelihood of farmers. The project coordinator highlighted Nigeria's leading stance in cassava production, but its loss in productivity was costing the country trillions in revenue. Nigeria is the world's largest producer of cassava, scientifically known as Manihot esculenta. The root crop is produced in 24 of the country's 36 states. As at 2014, global production of the cassava root was 268 million tons, with Nigeria contributing nearly 40 million tons of the world's total. Other major producers were Thailand, Indonesia, and Brazil. That same year, the federal government set a target of 51 million metric tons for 2017. There's a target for an additional 2 million tons for 2018. But there are issues affecting the growth and productivity levels of cassava farmers in Nigeria. This informed the gathering of agricultural scientists and experts at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, as they seek to improve the cassava seed system in the country.
We are engaging other institutions like the expansion program, an agency under Federal Ministry of Agriculture, universities of agriculture, especially Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, College of Agriculture, and that of Akure.
Part of the problem is the low standard of living of those cultivating the crop.
All of these cassava farmers have to have a fully functioning cassava value chain. Everything has to be working in that value chain so that they can sell their cassava. Because cassava needs inputs to grow well.
Dr. Hemant Nitikar is the project coordinator. He says the solutions to these problems are not far-reaching, highlighting the importance of seed, weed, and agronomy.
This project is trying to set up a sustainable seed system where improved varieties are available to the farmers at the ground level. So we are trying to set up a sustainable system where breeder seeds are multiplied and made available, a sustainable seed system where foundation seed is made available to the seed outgrowers so that they can multiply seeds and make it available to the farmers to use better seeds.
Participants from cassava research centers within and outside the country, as well as some notable international partners, will meet at a later date to agree on the quantity of seed flow into the country for the next 3 years. And now let's turn to the South. The Edo State government has given approval for fresh recruitment into the state's civil service. Chairman of the Edo State Civil Service Commission, Mrs. Ekuwaine, says the government wants to reposition the civil service for optimal performance by bringing in fresh minds. The increase in the workforce will also complement the experienced hands who are already in service.
Job creation and employment generation in both the public and private sectors are the major focus of the current administration in Edo State. To actualize this promise, the government has taken some very audacious steps to complement the Civil Service Commission by creating Edo Jobs, an ICT-based outfit.
Edo Jobs is the initiative of His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State. It was set up to ensure that we can create 200,000 jobs by 2020.
The Civil Service Commission in the grand scheme of employment offered by government focuses mainly on employing the regular civil servants.
The Civil Service Commission is constitutionally created and it is empowered to recruit, promote and discipline all civil servants.
Clearly, the two organizations have their paths well defined, but however, there are points of convergence in the nitty-gritty of the job creation agenda of the Edo State government.
At the moment, we have approval to recruit into the state civil service. I'm not going to tell you the number. Very soon, you will be seeing our advertisements in the newspaper, and I'm sure by the time that exercise is concluded, it will go a long way in reducing that 200,000 jobs Mr. Governor wants to create in Edo State.
Once the civil service announces their vacancies, you would also find them there and people can apply. Right now, there are already vacancies existing on Edo jobs people have been applying for. There are also skills development programs available on the portal people have been applying for.
As the population of the unemployed grows, there is always the dire need for government at all levels to be fluid and creative in response, not only by providing jobs, but also an enabling environment for investment, entrepreneurship, and skills acquisition initiatives. Osazo Baza reporting for Channels Television News.
And now to a criminal case of particular interest in the Federal Capital Territory. The High Court there today adjourned trial of alleged husband killer Miriam Sanda to April the 19th to enable the prosecution call his first witness. Ms. Sanda's counsel, Mr. Joseph Daudu, has made an application for the charges against her to be dismissed on the grounds that it is incompetent, null and void. Mr. Daudu had argued that the charges, which were filed as an originating summons, ought to have been filed by the Attorney General of the Federation and not the police. He also argued that the police had failed to file the charges through first information. But the police prosecutor asked the court to reject the application of the defendant because it is misconceived. He argued that the Administration of Criminal Justice Act is the only operational law in the FCT and that the police had adhered to laid down procedures for filing a criminal charge.
The charge has not been filed by the proper person. It should have been filed by the Attorney General. The police filed it. Secondly, it was filed by way of charge, not information. Information is different from the charge. And therefore, there are so many defects that makes it that there was no charge at all.
The defense, in their wisdom, felt, well, the charge before the court is defective. And we're saying no. The charge before the court is proper and in conformity with the provisions of the law. And that is exactly our position. We have argued the matter, and it will appear that that is just it. Because the only procedural rule with regards to trial of criminal matters in FCT is the Administration of Criminal Justice Act of 2015. And anything outside it is not known to us. And we have complied strictly with the provisions.
Now, plans are underway by the Cross River State government to begin the production of vaccines to reduce meningitis, typhoid and hepatitis. Commissioner for Health, Dr. Inyang Asebong, told newsmen in Calabar, the state capital, that the local production will increase the volume of vaccines available across the country with enough left over for exportation. The vaccines will be produced in partnership with a private pharmaceutical company.
On Sustainable Development Goal 3, which talks about ensuring healthy lives and promoting the health of all at all ages. How do we do this? By having our own pharmaceutical company here with us. Of course, the drugs are going to be cheap and they are going to be easily accessible, which is one something. Sometimes you go to the pharmacy and looking for a particular drug, you don't find it. So these drugs will be here with us. Charity begins at home. We're going to make sure that it's very, very cheap. In fact, the governor himself has said that most of the drugs will come out free for the vulnerable group.
Shelter across Nigeria is very important to the federal government. At least that's what they're trying to convey by the ongoing National Housing Program operational in the Southwest. Stay with us.